It's Thursday, June 22nd. This is the CBC Morning Report. I'm Tisha Hines. Good morning. In our top story, Tropical Storm Brett saw Barbadians in prep mode yesterday, and overnight we saw conditions. To tell us about the system and what else is likely to happen weather-wise is Brian Murray, Deputy Director of the Barbados Met Service. Good morning to you, Mr. Murray.
Good morning, Tisha, and good morning to the viewers, Barbados and also online. So here is going on with Storm Brett as it's merry way towards us and the Lesser Antilles. Now, I want to emphasize that we are still under a tropical storm watch, which is issued when sustained winds of 34 to 3 knots or equivalent to 39 to 73 miles per hour is spot for us within the next 48 hours. And fortunately, we're not having those winds as yet. So I want to give you the latest position at 5 a.m. The center was located near 0.7 degrees north, 56.6 degrees west. That is about 2 miles to the east of Barbados. It continued westward at 50 miles per hour, with maximum sustained winds near 70 miles. The minimum central pressure is 996 millibars. Now, I must emphasize here that the strongest winds associated with the system are mainly to the north and the northeast of the center at the moment, so they are offshore. So, based on what the information that we have here, it is expected to pass 59 miles to the north of Barbados late this afternoon. However, winds gusting possibly to storm force is likely during this period, and that will be mostly due to any weak bands ahead of the storm, which we're having some isolated thunderstorms or two. So that's where we have the tropical storm watch remaining in the. Now, the impact, as far as the marine conditions are concerned, they will continue to deteriorate today and will remain so in early Friday morning. Moderate to rough swells of 0.3 meters is possible in open water. As a result, a small craft and surf advisory is in effect, and mariners are advised not to be far from port and secure their vessels. And as I mentioned before, the feeder bands, or I would say the outer bands, will start to affect Barbados, and that will be so true for tonight and into tomorrow. And for accumulations, are possible between 3 inches, and that may result in flash flooding in low-lying districts. The next advisory will be issued at 8 a.m. on Thursday, 22nd of June, 2023.
All right. Now, we know that the Hurricane Hunter went into the storm yesterday, we're told. So what are some of the findings that may be of current concern, not just with Brett, but maybe other forming systems?
I want to emphasize that the Hurricane Hunter will focus on Brett right now, and what they found last night is that most of the winds associated are still to the north and the east of the center. But you have to appreciate the fact that systems go through a 1 minute, they will have a lot of convection and intensity, and then they will have a cycle where those will disappear, and then another set of storms and better. Right now, the one going out there, between 8 and 9, we have an idea on how the system is. The latest imagery is showing that it is weakening slightly. However, the Hurricane Hunter will probably give us a much better idea on how the status of the storm is as it comes to the east.
All right. So just to be clear, I know at this time there are a lot of people, so to speak, in holding pattern. They're wondering what to do, whether schools will be opened or closed. Based on what you said, I know that you would have shared what's expected. Based on what you said, what conditions can Barbadians expect? Let's repeat that. And are there any particular parts of the island that should be particularly careful or expect be more rainfall or what have you than others, outside of regular low-lying areas that usually get flooding and so on a regular basis?
Okay, based on the current and satellite imagery, what Barbadians can expect the winds to be coming in from the east-northeast to the northeast. So the sea may be a little choppier on the northern and northeastern coast and the west. And as it's on, those winds will probably swing and be coming from the north as Brett comes a little closer. In terms of shower activity, well, you will have clear skies with cloudy periods with some scattered showers and potentially other isolated thunderstorm.
All right. Now, beyond today and tomorrow, what can we expect going into the weekend?
Well, as for tonight, it's going tonight first. As Brett goes a little further to the west, and climatology shows that usually have a feeder band coming in for sub, so you will have the heavy showers and storms from tonight and tomorrow. We have predicted about 1 to 3 inches in some places, and as Brett goes to the rain conditions will start to models are indicating that Brett will probably degenerate into trouble as it enters the Eastern Caribbean Sea.
All right, I want to thank you so much, and we most certainly look forward to that update at 8 o'clock this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Brian Murray, Deputy Director of the Barbados Met Services. Coming up on the CBC Morning Report, more on Tropical Storm Brett. Stay with us. The Department of Emergency Management has been tasked with helping prepare Barbadians for situations such like this one with Tropical Storm Brett. Director of the DEM, Kerry Hines, has been outlining what Barbadians should have done by now.
Persons should have been ensuring that they have the necessary items, emergency items, to run them through the storm phase. They really should have been looking around their homes to ensure that they don't have any loose objects that may become missiles. Because as you know, with the storm, it brings rain and wind. You should have ensured that you have your family emergency kits, know where you need to go if you have to evacuate your homes, and generally just bunker down, ensure that you have your shuttering, you clean your drains. So there's so many different things that you need to ensure that you put in place. And you need to have sat down with your family and your friends and go through your preparedness plans, what you will do in the eventuality.
Ms. Hines assures the shelters are ready if required.
Prior to the beginning of the hurricane season, the authorities would have audited the various shelters, and we ensured that the list of shelters was available to the public. You can go to our various websites, the Government Information Service or the Department of Emergency, and the list of shelters are there. It is important that persons know the closest shelter to their homes, so that in the instance that they need to evacuate, they can go there. The Category 1 shelters, if needs be, they will be open before the system passes. So it is very important to note that we would have done our preparedness measures, ensure that we have those places of refuge available to you as a member of the public.
The DEM director advises not to delay in contacting any emergency service that will be needed during this hurricane season.
Contact us at the DM 438-7575. You still have the normal emergency operations in terms of police, fire as well. If there are any medical emergencies, you can call the ambulance service. As you may know, persons may know, we usually have our crisis coordination center where we bring the various agencies together and we ride out the storm, ensuring that we're taking in a lot of the information and we are doing our final planning and that type of thing, so that we are every step of the way. We are ensuring that we understand the situation and we're there to respond to persons once conditions allow.
Barbadians are being cautioned against being complacent about preparing for the approaching tropical storm Brett. The advice from Acting Prime Minister Santia Bradshaw, and it comes as the island remains under a tropical storm watch. She was visiting the Barbados Meteorological Services headquarters at Charnock's Christchurch to get a first-hand look at their operations.
I know that there are Barbadians who will say, sometimes the Met Office gets it wrong and therefore we're going to wait and see what is going to happen. And I want to say to you that that is not the approach that we must take in at this time. Climate change is very, very real and Barbadians need to be prepared. In the same way that you would prepare for anything else, you need to make sure that you prepare for the hurricane season, prepare for this particular storm. If we get excess water, there's likely to be flooding. It therefore means that, you may have some disruption in terms of traffic, in terms of being able to get out of your house, and therefore it means that you need to go around the house, check to see, if you need to batten down anything around the house, check to see if there are any flying objects that may pick up in the storm winds.
Ms. Bradshaw says stakeholders, including emergency officials, have been meeting to assess preparedness for the hurricane season in general.
You can see that there are systems coming behind Brett. So this discussion in the last few days is not simply about this particular system, but it is to send a message to Barbadians that we cannot sit on our laurels any longer, just simply say that God is a Bajan, that the system is not going to hit us or it's going to pass us, because we are seeing a different pattern of behavior in the systems coming out of the Atlantic. And even with all the best intentions and the predictions that the meteorological department can do, in the same token, they can't play God. And therefore, Barbadians need to make sure that they pay attention to the messaging that is being put out there as well.
More training is being provided in disaster preparedness and response in Antigua and Barbuda. The National Office of Disaster Services, as well as the military, police and fire personnel, are participating in an emergency humanitarian logistics workshop. It is being facilitated by the United Nations World Food Programme and the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency. We hear more from ABS Television.
The training modules have been developed by both the United Nations Food Programme and the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency, CDEMA. The modules support their objective to promote capacity strengthening activities in the region in the areas of disaster preparedness and response. The workshop is being held at the Antigua Air Station in Coolidge, with one of the aims being to foster interagency collaboration. Participants were given a refresher course on the placement and setup of CDEMA emergency kits. And at the end of the training, they will be able to conduct damage assessments and needs analysis, plan for emergency response, describe the elements of warehouse management, among other elements.
Don't look at this as me teaching. We're just having a discussion, we are sharing information, because I want to learn from you all about your local procedures as much as I am sharing information with you, right? I will just be giving you information to guide your decision-making process.
Well, it's time now to preview what's coming up on Morning Barbados. We're going to tell you all about the NCF's Calypso Forward project. Kevin Slucky Dan Watson is going to be in to talk to us about that. Plus, we feature a very exceptional young man who is a dancer and choreographer. We're talking to you about a worthwhile fundraiser. As a matter of fact, there will be two. One for the children and the other one will be from the Barbados Alliance to End Homelessness. They've launched their I Pledge campaign for 2023 in their quest to buy a building in Spry Street. And of course, we'll tell you about Youth Fest as well. That's coming up at 6:30 on Morning Barbados. But next, right here on the Morning Report, more news, sports and weather. Stay with us. World leaders are in Paris for a summit to push for global debt and climate reform. French President Emmanuel Macron notes the summit for a new global financial pact is aimed at building a new consensus to meet the interlinked global targets of tackling poverty, curbing planet heating and emissions, and protecting nature. The two-day summit begins today. Leaders arriving in Paris to champion that message include Barbados Prime Minister Mia Motley. Ms. Motley is in a tweet says change is needed, and that's why she is in France for the summit for a new global financing pact. Barbadian national hero, the Right Excellent Robin Rihanna Finty, also joined the cause, appealing for support for the Barbadian leader. Ms. Motley, in reply, thanked Rihanna and stated the Bridgetown Initiative is an opportunity for world leaders to reform development finance and help poor countries address the climate crisis. The 13-year-old schoolgirl from Guyana who has been receiving treatment in New York after she was badly burnt in the fire at the female dormitory of the Mahdia Secondary School is recovering well. The update was provided by Minister of Health, Dr. Frank Anthony. The girl was flown to Northwell Health Burns Center in New York on May 27th, several days after the horrific fire which claimed the lives of 19 teen girls and a 5-year-old boy.
When she left Guyana, we had to intubate her and we had to sedate her. She has extensive burns on her body, and she's now getting extremely good care. And last week, the team in New York was able to remove those tubes. She is conscious. She is interacting with nurses, doctors. Her parents were there with her. So she's doing really well and she's making a good recovery. We don't have anyone at GPHC. A number of students, out of precaution, we had brought them down to Georgetown. We did some assessments. Some of them had minor injuries. We were able to deal with that. And they've all gone back to their respective communities. We have a team on the ground in Madhya that continues to provide psychological and psychiatric support.
2 U.S.-based therapists are on a mission to enhance the welfare of families and children living with disabilities in Jamaica. The specialists believe they're making a huge impact. We get more from TVJ.
Skilled Connections. It's a non-profit organization co-founded by these 2 pediatric specialists from Atlanta, Georgia, whose love for helping children knows no bounds. Established in 2019, the charity specializes in training children, parents, and teachers on how to better cope with disabilities. President and speech-language pathologist Dennett Vassell says the group was formed after seeing the dire need for more pediatric therapists in Jamaica.
We were brought down here, we were able to connect with schools, we were able to provide some services, and we wanted to continue because we saw that we were doing a great job and doing a service that was needed.
Vice President and occupational therapist Dr. Michelle Tomlinson says the group visits twice per year, working with disabled children and their caregivers in being more functional and independent.
And part of becoming a functional adult, getting support in childhood, support for parents and caregivers, support to the teachers, and that's what we're here for. We're just a piece of the puzzle, but we want to be a functional piece.
And you have to understand, functional doesn't mean always going and getting a job.
Right.
It could be, can that child now feed themselves, dress themselves? Can they communicate their wants and their needs?
Ms. Vassell, a Jamaican, says prior visits focus on students in Mandeville. However, this year's visit was extended to Kingston, Spanish Town, and here in Santa Cruz at the St. Elizabeth Early Childhood Education and Therapeutic Center.
So we go in there, we do assessments, screenings, and then we also educate the teachers on positioning or techniques that they could use to better support the children. And then we also have been able to work with families, so we support the parents. We've met with them in March, we're back here in June, and then we also talk to them virtually every month when we're not here to continue to give the support, techniques, and tips.
At least 6 children have died in Chile as the worst recorded outbreak of a seasonal virus has turned into an epidemic.
Neighborhood clinics, emergency rooms, and critical care units in hospitals all over Chile are struggling to cope with an epidemic of the syncytial virus. Every winter, the virus shows its ugly face. It has a high mortality rate in babies, less than a year old. But this year, toddlers and even young school children are becoming seriously ill. Outside the Calvo Maquena Pediatric Hospital in Santiago, Hernan Leiva tells us that he and his wife have been sleeping in the halls of the intensive care unit for a week, while their 1-year-old daughter fights for her life.
We've seen some terrible cases. Yesterday, a baby had respiratory failure. The doctors running around like mad to save her, and we're all there watching. It's terrifying for parents.
This morning, his toddler improved, but many others haven't survived. 2 infants, both 2 months old, were buried in this cemetery earlier this month. One because there were no critical care beds left. The other because the ambulance arrived too late.
There's no vaccine for this virus that impacts children under the age of 1 the most. During the years of pandemic in which there was a low circulation of other viruses, the normal immunological cycle was altered, creating more vulnerability.
Just like during the coronavirus pandemic, hospitals and staff are overwhelmed. The head of the pediatric critical care unit of one of Santiago's largest private hospitals has turned this adult intensive care area into a pediatric wing.
This viral outbreak is the worst we've experienced since Chile began recording respiratory viruses and has been concentrated in a very short period of time, which is why the intensive care beds are full.
Ukraine's allies have pledged tens of billions of dollars in non-military aid at a conference in London.
2 days that could change the future of Ukraine. Not with weapons, but with investment and aid. And emphasising the urgency, the Ukrainian president joined delegates in London via video link.
There is currently no place in the world where there is a need to construct and rebuild as many objects as in Ukraine. Every new day of Russian aggression brings new ruins. Thousands and thousands of destroyed houses, devastated industries, burned lives.
Kicking off the two-day conference, standing next to the British and Ukrainian foreign ministers, Rishi Sunak stressed the importance of private enterprise investing in Ukraine.
And that's why we're launching the Ukraine Business Compact, for the private sector to pledge their support for Ukraine's recovery and reconstruction. And I am delighted to announce today that over 400 businesses from 38 countries with a combined market cap of $4.9 trillion have now signed up.
In sports, the West Indies have the early advantage in their ongoing ICC World Cup qualifier against Nepal. Batting first after being sent in, the Windies a short while ago were 285 for 4 after 45 overs. That marks a remarkable recovery from 55 for 3 after 15.3 overs. Responsible for that recovery is a double century stand for the fourth wicket between skipper Shea Hope, who is not out on 120, and Nicholas Pooran, who made 115. That included 10 fours and 4 sixes. Those two put on 216 runs together. Before the match, the skipper noted that the middle order needed to find form.
The middle order has been the biggest concern for us of late. But again, all of our batters need to pull the weight. We need to take full responsibility with the bat and give our bowlers the best opportunity to finish games. Again, if we get a good start with 2 openers by the entire innings, then we don't have to worry about the middle. But yeah, like I said, we have to take full responsibility as a batting group and make sure we get those big totals on the board. And if we're chasing, to score the runs in a more convincing manner. One thing about our squad, we have a lot of depth. I think, especially in the batting department, we bat basically till number 11. But it's not for the lower order to be pulling the weight fast.
Responding to criticisms on why the regional team is now fighting in a qualifying phase after they didn't gain direct access to the main competition, Hope says the squad only has themselves to blame.
We've put ourselves in this position and everyone knows that. And to me, it's only one way forward from here. And as long as we understand that as a group, that's the start, really and truly. Like, we need to understand that we put ourselves in this situation. And we need to make sure we get out these qualifiers and show the world that West Indies is a team to really be reckoned with.
The Windies versus Nepal match is currently live on MCTV's ESPN channel 308. Let's take a quick look at the weather. The present barometric pressure is 1011.1 millibars, air temperature 26.4 degrees, relative humidity stands at 82%, and the winds are blowing out of the east-northeast at 18 kilometers per hour. Present conditions, fair. Sea conditions for today, moderate in open water with swells ranging from 2.5 to 3.5 meters. Here's a look at how the tides will roll in today. And the general forecast for Barbados, mostly cloudy to overcast with frequent, continuous, widely scattered, moderate showers and a medium chance of isolated thunderstorms. Later in the evening, you can most certainly expect that conditions will deteriorate, overcast with the occasional, continuous, widely scattered, moderate to heavy showers and a very slight chance of scattered thunderstorms. There will be an update coming your way at 8 o'clock. From the Met Office. And that is today's morning report. Our next newscast is Newsday at 12 noon here on TV8, followed by The World at 1 via our radio network of stations, 100.7 FM, 98.1 The One and 94.7 FM. It's time now for Morning Barbados.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning, Barbados, good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning, 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 morning. Good morning to you. Good morning, morning Barbados. Good morning.
It's Thursday, June 22nd. Hey, welcome. Good to have you in company on this gorgeous day. A little overcast outside, and of course, we're expecting, as we would say here in Barbados, a little bad weather. I certainly hope you're preparing for all that's to come. If we do have bad weather all across the island in terms of flooding and heavy rains, and we're not able to go out and so on, you want to make sure that you are prepared. And we heard lots of experts earlier in the morning report talking to us about the importance of being prepared. Last evening, I myself ventured out to the supermarket, and I know a lot of people were stocking up and getting ready, maybe picking up a few last minute things and so on. So if you can do that, make sure you do, because we've been getting notices, and I'm going to start with them very early. We've been getting notices from a number of companies who have been telling us about how they will operate today. One of the messages that we got is from Dr. Brian Charles of Sandy Crest. And what Dr. Brian Charles has said is, with the approaching tropical storm threat, Sandy Crest Medical Center will close at 7 a.m. today, Thursday, Thursday, and Coverley Medical Center will not open. Once the all clear has been given, the centers will reopen on Friday. All right, so that's word from Dr. Brian Charles. If we have any further updates, we most certainly will share them with you throughout the morning. But we have a great show planned for you today. We're going to be telling you all about some fundraising. We're talking to some positive youth, and just generally sharing about all that's happening here in Barbados and across the diaspora, and celebrating some wonderful people. So we're going to give you an update on a gift for the children. Sandy Grisette, representative from the Pine St. Michael community and Pie Corner St. Lucie, they're going to be holding a fundraiser at Tina's Bar. We'll tell you more about that, why it's being put on, and what it is for. And we're also going to be telling you all about the NCF's Calypso Forward project with Kevin Sluggy Dan Watson, the product lead for Calypso Forward. He will be on to share more with us about that. Kamal Marshall, a dancer, choreographer, and performer, will be in as our exceptional youth today. And he definitely is exceptional in all that he does. So we look forward to hearing more about him. And we also will have Kimar Safri and Rika Edie, who are with the Barbados Alliance to End Homelessness. They're talking about the launch of their I Pledge To building campaign to raise funds towards purchasing their building. We will be talking to them about that. But first, Apostle Cindy Meeks, president of Vision Ministries International, is joining us at this time to share more about Youth Fest, which begins on Sunday, June 25th. Good morning to you, Apostle Meeks. Welcome.
It's so good to be here from rainy Washington, D.C. So I see that there's some rain on the horizon there, so we're praying away.
All right, well, rain for us and rain for you. And I know that rain doesn't deter the good people of Washington, D.C. Of course, it's still always very busy around the National Mall and all through the city with everything that there is to do in Washington. But we most certainly are looking forward to what you will be bringing to Barbados in terms of the wonderful word. So talk to us about your association with the project.
Sure. Well, we'll be partnering with many of the local churches in Barbados. We've had the pleasure of meeting so many amazing pastors, and they're doing such a wonderful job. And we just really are coming in to partner with what they're already doing on the ground, just helping the youth of Barbados realize that they have a purpose for their lives and that their Creator created them with a great plan. You know, the Lord says that I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, to give you a future and a hope. And that's our prayer, that's our heart, to really let the youth of Barbados know that they are loved by God and that we're here to encourage them and help their pastors in whatever way we possibly can to empower the youth.
Now, one of the things that struck me, as simple as it is that you're going to be here with your team to pray with and pray for the young people of Barbados. And I think that is a tremendous message.
Yes, absolutely. Without prayer, a lot of things can just be awry, fall awry. And we see so much in communities, whether it's here in the United States, in the inner cities, in the suburbs, or in Barbados, where there's such a need for young people to understand that they have a purpose for their lives. And, we have a lot of praying moms and grandmothers who really understand that the power of prayer can transform hearts and lives. I have seen the power of prayer in my life, in the lives of people that we've touched. During COVID, one of the things that my husband and I did was that we opened our home to over 25 young people who didn't have sports or anything to go to anymore, and they were looking for a safe haven. And we began to just love on them. They weren't Christians. They weren't really necessarily people of faith, but we just opened our homes and we just loved on them. And because of that, through that, we created a community of young people who really trust us with their heart issues, and we were able to help guide them in the right path, pray for them. They started asking us, "Hey, Miss Cindy, can you pray for me? I'm going through this and that." And we've seen God answer prayer. And so that's our message, that Jesus loves them and he has a plan for their lives and he wants them to succeed. And so we believe in the power of prayer to change people's lives.
Yeah, and we're talking specifically about young people. I love the concept of this youth fest, but from where you sit and based on the experience that you have, you just told us about how you've been working with younger people. How do you think the message, the interaction has to differ from how you would interact and engage and pray with and for older people or more mature people?
Yeah, I do. I think that older people have to be very sensitive to the needs of young people. I think one of the things that we hear all the time is our mom and dads or, our teachers really don't understand our plight. It's so different from the way they grew up. And so you have to use a different strategy, even different language on how to reach them. And young people need to know that they are loved. And love speaks to every age, no matter whether you're old or young. When you love people where they are without judgment, the way Jesus would, he went into the sinner's home. He went into those who were least likely to that society wanted to accept, and he loved them. And I think that's the universal message, that Jesus loves you no matter how old you are. And, we have to refrain from judging people. I think that oftentimes we look at young people, we're like, oh my gosh, when I was your age, I never would have reacted that way. Why are you dealing with depression? You have all these things. And so you really have to understand we have to understand what our kids are facing, the culture in which they live, some of the pressures that they have that we didn't necessarily have growing up. And so just really meeting them where they are and just giving them an opportunity just to share their hearts and just loving them from that point on, and just praying with them and helping them in whatever way we possibly can.
All right, now we know that Youth Fest begins on Sunday, June 25th and runs until July 1st. It's going to be at Independence Square, 7 o'clock nightly, and of course it's aimed at bringing together youth from across Barbados, presenting messages of hope, assurance, peace, love. And there will be a number of programs hosted during the week to motivate, educate, and support the young participants. So talk to us about your expectations when you come to Barbados, and let us know what we can expect in turn from you and your team.
Yeah, thank you for that. My expectation is that people will turn out. They will see the need to come and support this amazing production, not necessarily production, this amazing gathering of people who are in search for purpose, for help, for encouragement. And we have several events throughout the week. It's going to culminate with 3 days, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, where we have, just a gathering. Thursday night is going to be on the beach, and Friday and Saturday will be in Independence Square. And so our heart is to just really minister and to present a message of the transforming power of the gospel. And so our expectation that people will come out. And if you would like to support Youth Fest in any way, just follow us on Instagram, YouthFestBB, or email us at youthfest@gmail.com. No, I'm sorry, youthfestbarbados@gmail.com. And if you'd like to give, there are lots of events that are taking place. And so if you'd like to help support this venture, just email us. So we'd just be happy to see you there. Just show up and have a good time. We're going to have amazing worship, amazing music by our people here, Corey Robinson, but as well as some of the local voices in Barbados, some of the churches and the youth that will be participating in this amazing experience.
Well, I don't know if you have a Barbadian connection, but I'm sure by the time you're done, you most certainly will.
Absolutely. I love the people of Barbados. I know Trish and Patrick Tanis, they've been amazing. And so many of the pastors, they've been such a joy to work with. They really love the people of Barbados. I have fallen in love with them. I was born in Trinidad. I lived there till I was 14. So I love the Caribbean. I often come home and just vacation in the Caribbean. So my heart is for the people in the Caribbean. So it's just such a pleasure and a joy to work with the people in Barbados.
Apostle Cindy Meeks, I want to thank you so much for coming through, and we most certainly look forward to you being here next week to share with us during Youth Fest, which is for the young people of Barbados. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Apostle Cindy Meeks is president of Vision Ministries International, and they're based in Washington. She'll be here for that Youth Fest next week. So listen out for more on that. Well, coming up, we're going to hear from the Barbados Alliance to End Homelessness and let you know what role you can play in helping them get that building they're in. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
equally and at large can do to help contribute to this cause?
Well, what we've done is try to say that we were trying to look for 2,000 individuals that are willing to give $500, and the $500 could be given over a 5-month period or one time. And I think that narrowing it down to that would help us to be able to raise it faster. Persons can give whatever they can, we still appreciate it. But if we can also get, if my memory serves me, with 500 businesses giving 2,000, then we will reach the mark faster, rather than one business having to feel they need to give this and that. But we're hosting a few breakfast meetings with businesses and individuals coming up soon that will be able to let persons hear more about what we do, see the insight in depth of what we do, so that they can pledge their $500 or their $2,000. So we're hoping that that would help propel us faster, rather than saying to people, give what you can, and then everybody bring $1, and then it takes longer. We're just saying we're capping at 500, or minimum of 500 or minimum of 2,000, depending on business or individual. But persons can still give at any of the other locations we have set up, the Shore Pays or the Pays Digital, our office, or any of the Republic banks that we have that are the campaign accounts.
Why is this six-month timeline significant?
Because we've gone over roughly 4 years now of having the building, and at any point of time, the building can go back on the market. And if it goes back on the market, our building is one of the largest of its type in Bridgetown, and it's a standalone building. If you know the history of Bridgetown, all the buildings are like stick-on. This is a very unique building. We're in a unique space. We've already established ourselves in space, and the 6 months is, as I said, because we've gone over the 3-year contract by a year or plus. We really would like to stay. We would like to narrow it down. And 5 months is because if someone is donating $500 and want to donate per month, they will have the space out time that they would need between 5 to 6 months to do it. So that is the reason why we are running a 6 months campaign. We're hoping to have it finished before, but it also gives the staff the flexibility to put on little in between events and sensitize Barbados a little bit more, so we understand that persons need information, people need to make their mind up and what's not, so we're helping along that line. So that's the reason for the 6 months.
Talk to us about what it is that you do at the Barbados Alliance to End Homelessness for those people who might not be absolutely clear on what services you're offering and the people whom you're helping. Lay it out for us.
So a lot of persons have this notion that we are a feeding organization. That's far from what we do only. We provide the counseling and mentorship. We provide the rehabilitation program. If you would have seen recently, we had a graduation ceremony for about 7 to 10 persons who would have graduated from our rehab program, our 6 to 9 months rehab program, and placed back into mainstream society. So we have that aspect going, that we take people obviously they live with us and they rehab. Now we don't show much of that because we know our society doesn't allow people to move on seemingly. We do counseling every day. We help them with if they need welfare assistance. We have a clinic at the shelter, so people receive medical treatment, and that is in partnership with Ross University and Urgent Care. And so if they need connecting with their families, if they need, as I said, welfare assistance, if they need assistance getting bank account, getting their pensions, we're a one-stop shop. Life coaching, development, financial management. We also provide math and English classes for those who can't read or write. So there's a number of programs, and it's tailored around the client. So depending on the need of the client, if they need psychiatric treatment, we work with the psychiatric hospital. If they need drug counseling, we work with Verdon House. And so the organizations just come together to give the client a full program that helps the client go back into mainstream society. And our shelter, which is a night shelter from 6 p.m. to 7 a.m., caters to women and children. So not just men. So our program is designed for women and children. And there are women and children that live at the shelter that are trying to get back on their feet. So it's a very broad program. It's not narrowed down to just feeding. Feeding is just a way of people coming to us, and we capturing the new faces and we helping them with the programs.
I know that when we think of homelessness, sometimes there's a view as to who is homeless and who these people are and what they look like. And I think is very important what you just reminded us of, the fact that you have women and children. Last time we spoke, you told me there are children in the shelter who actually get up from the shelter and go to school and come back to the shelter. So your work has kind of expanded in ways I would imagine that you did not even foresee. And as you continue to expand and offer all of these various services is why you need the support. So your final word on this appeal, this I Pledge program, as to how people, the average person can contribute as well, because I too feel like a $2,000 over a 5-month period donation for many of us is not too much to offer, to ask for, especially when we talk about what you are offering.
Yeah, one thing I want to reiterate to Barbara is that I always say this is not a Kimar Safari, Barbados Alliance and homelessness issue. This is a national issue. And we need to be able to have somewhere in Barbados that we're not threatened by, in the sense that when I say that, we don't want it to be a case where the homeless organization become homeless. So, thankfully the bank hasn't moved in that regard. But at the end of the day, we are still at the mercy of the bank if they decide to give us the building. And I think it would be a loss to Barbados to see that the only female shelter in Barbados that caters to women and children, I'm not talking about from a domestic aspect, from a homeless aspect, would be gone. Because before, there was none in Barbados. There were no female shelters. I think we were the first to be able to assist the many women and children that we are seeing on a day-to-day. And the increased amount of homeless persons that we are seeing, it plays a role in Barbados society, as in be able to, we can help people. There's a lot of people you see on the street, but there's a lot of people you don't see on the street because of our 90-bed facility, that we're able to house them and keep them off the street and assist them with programs and help them get back into mainstream society. So it's critical, not to me only, but to Barbados at large, because at the end of the day, in many cases, I can tell you, Tisha, it is the families of a lot of people in Barbados, prominent or not, that call us and say, can you put up a brother or sister, or aunt or uncle or dad or mom? So you can see even though people are not saying anything, you can see that there's a great need for the shelter, because it's affecting people day by day, and it's affecting you, the general public family, day by day.
And finally, as we wrap up, this is a question that's very, very important for a lot of people. How do you guarantee transparency and accountability in your daily accounting for people who may make donations in terms of how the funds are used and things of that nature?
Great question. Every fund is uploaded to the BRAW system, so that once you give, you can give your TAMIS number. It's uploaded to the system, so you can see it on your tax return, or you can see when you file your tax. Everyone is given a receipt. There's also the accounting. If persons ask for it, we submit, because it's a public document. It's not a private document of our accounting and how we conduct our business and our affairs. Obviously, we have major donors like the Maria Water Memorial Trust. We also have the government, who is we receive a yearly subvention from. And those are people that we have to report to as well on their funding. And I always tell Barbadians, if they didn't trust us with their money, they won't be sending it on a yearly basis. Maria has been with us for 10 years, and we have been in a great partnership. But all businesses and all individuals receive a receipt, and also the information for transparency is uploaded to BRAW system. Regardless if you give your TAMIS number, because some people don't, they've advised us to put in 16 zeros, so it's recorded into that system. So we make sure that everything is transparent, and if you request a copy of the yearly accounting, it is provided to you as well.
I want to thank you so much, Kimar. And we go back many, many years. I remember the early days when you would come in when I worked on 98.1 FM. And this is when you were feeding people out of your pockets as you made your way on a daily basis. This truly is a labor of love for you, and I most certainly hope that you will be able to raise those funds. Thank you for the work that you do every single day.
And thank you for always having us. Thank you. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. That's Kimar Safri of the Barbados Alliance to End Homelessness. He is the president. If you can, please give. Just after 7 o'clock, we're going to update you on the news. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Good morning to now for an update of the news. Outer bands of Tropical Storm Brett are expected to begin to affect Barbados from this afternoon with showers and gusty winds. Local Met officials advised residents winds gusting to storm force are likely during that period. Deputy Director of the Barbados Meteorological Service, Brian Murray, says a tropical storm watch remains in effect for this country. He revealed the center of Brett is strongest. Winds are expected to pass approximately 59 miles to the north of Barbados late this evening. At 5 this morning, the center of the storm was located near 13.7 north, 56.6 west, or approximately 200 miles east of Barbados. Marine conditions will deteriorate later tonight into early Friday morning. Moderate to rough swells of 8 to 11 feet in open water around Barbados is expected to generate choppy conditions, which will particularly affect the eastern and northern coastlines. As a result, a small craft and high surf advisory are in effect. Mariners advised not to venture too far from port and secure your vessels immediately. Well, all schools will be open today. That's the word from the Ministry of Education, Technical and Vocational Training. It, however, advised parents and guardians that schools will be open only until 1 o'clock this afternoon. According to the Chief Education Officer, Dr. Ramona Archer Bradshaw, the ministry has been advised the opening or operation of school will not be affected by adverse weather during the period stated above. The ministry has therefore urged all staff and students traveling to their respective schools to exercise caution as they traverse across the various routes. Those taking examinations are also asked to travel safely to their various centers. The Ministry of Education will update the public on any further steps that should be taken. The Department of Emergency Management has been tasked with helping prepare Barbadians for situations such as this one with Tropical Storm Brett. Director of the DEM, Kerry Hines, has been outlining what Barbadians should have done by now.
Persons should have been ensuring that they have the necessary items, emergency items, to run them through the storm phase. They really should have been looking around their homes to ensure that they don't have any loose objects that may become missiles, because as you know, with the storm it brings rain and wind. You should have ensured that you have your family emergency kits, know where you need to go if you have to evacuate your homes, and generally just bunker down, ensure that you have your shuttering, you clean your drains, So there's so many different things that you need to ensure that you put in place, and you need to have sat down with your family and your friends and go through your preparedness plans, what you will do in the eventuality.
Ms. Hines also assures the shelters are ready if required.
Prior to the beginning of the hurricane season, the authorities would have audited the various shelters, and we ensured that the list of shelters was available to the public. You can go to our various websites, the Government Information Service or the Department of Emergency, and the list of shelters are there. It is important that persons know the closest shelter to their homes, so that in the instance that they need to evacuate, they can go there. The Category 1 shelters, if needs be, they will be open before the system passes. So it is very important to note that we would have done our preparedness measures, ensure that we have those places of refuge available to you as a member of the public.
The DEM director advises not to delay in contacting any emergency service that will be needed during this hurricane season.
Contact us at the DM 438-7575. You still have the normal emergency operations in terms of police, fire as well. If there are any medical emergencies, you can call the ambulance service. As you may know, persons may know, we usually have our crisis coordination center where we bring the various agencies together and we ride out the storm, ensuring that we're taking in a lot of the information, and we are doing our final planning and that type of thing, so that we are, every step of the way, we are ensuring that we understand the situation and we're there to respond to persons once conditions allow.
Meanwhile, Barbadians are being cautioned against being complacent about preparing for the approaching tropical storm Brett. The advice from Acting Prime Minister Santia Bradshaw comes as the island remains under a tropical storm watch. She was visiting the Barbados Meteorological Services headquarters at Charnock's Christchurch to get a first-hand look at their operations.
Know that there are Barbadians who will say, sometimes the Met Office gets it wrong and therefore we're going to wait and see what is going to happen. And I want to say to you that that is not the approach that we must be taking at this time. Climate change is very, very real, and Barbadians need to be prepared. In the same way that you would prepare for anything else, you need to make sure that you prepare for the hurricane season, prepare for this particular storm. If we get excess water, there's likely to be flooding. It therefore means that you may have some disruption in terms of traffic, in terms of being able to get out of your house, and therefore it means that you need to go around the house, check to see if you need to batten down anything around the house, check to see if there are any flying objects that may pick up in the storm winds.
Ms. Bradshaw says stakeholders, including emergency officials, have been meeting to assess preparedness for the hurricane season in general.
You can see that there are systems coming behind Brett. So this discussion in the last few days is not simply about this particular system, but it is to send a message to Barbadians that we cannot sit on our laurels any longer, just simply say that God is a Bajan, that the system is not going to hit us or it's going to pass us, because we are seeing a different pattern of behavior in the systems coming out of the Atlantic. And even with all the best intentions and the predictions that the meteorological department can do, in the same token, they can't play God, and therefore Barbadians need to make sure that they pay attention to the messaging that is being put out there as well.
So in wrapping up our news update at this time, there is school. Schools will close at 1 o'clock this afternoon, and outer bands of Tropical Storm Brett are expected to begin to affect Barbados from this afternoon with showers and gusty winds. Local Met officials advise residents that gusting winds to storm force are likely during this period. We'll continue to update you here on CBC TV8. And of course, the Met Office has said they will have a further update at 8 o'clock this morning. So stay tuned to the services of the Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation. Of course, we'll have Newsday at 12 noon here on TV8 and The World at 1 via our radio network of stations at 1 o'clock this afternoon. We're going to continue with Morning Barbados after this. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
13 after 7 on this busy Thursday morning here in Barbados and indeed across the region. We were hoping to be able to link up with our neighbors in St. Lucia and see how they are preparing. So we'll try to get that together, maybe bring it to you a little bit later, maybe tomorrow on the show. But they certainly are preparing as well for tropical Storm Brett and the possible effects. So we will stay on top of not only what's happening here in Barbados, but indeed across the world. And for those of you who want to stay tuned, who are across the diaspora, might be concerned about relatives and friends here in Barbados and in the region, you can of course continue to tune into our services. We are on YouTube, we are online at CBC News Barbados, on Facebook at CBC Barbados as well. You definitely will be having frequent updates across our radio network as well as here on TV8. 14 minutes after 7 o'clock. It's time now for us to tell you about another worthwhile fundraising effort. So let's welcome Sandy Grisette to Morning Barbados, and she's a representative for several areas, but she's here also to tell us all about the reason for the fundraiser and give us details on how it will unfold. Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
It most certainly is wonderful to put a face to the communication. You know, sometimes you go back and forth with messages with people, as we have been doing over the past few weeks. So wonderful to see you on this great morning. And let's get straight into this fundraiser. I don't think there's any easy way to talk about the reason for the fundraiser, so I'll leave it up to you.
Okay, the name of the fundraiser is The Gift for the Children. And this is in remembrance of Joelle Hope. I really don't like to repeat this story or anything like that because it's very painful. But Joelle had died and Joelle had left 4 children, ages 9, 7, 5, and 2 now. And to me, it's like, how should I put it? To me, it's like, we as a people, as a country, as communities, owe these children and also owe other children out there something. And the reason why I say that, because children are the future. And communities, to me, this is what I see. Communities need to come together to raise our children. And the donation event is for like, donations don't always have to mean money. And I know in these hard and trying times that everybody going through something. Everybody going through something. So donations could be like if there are children, donations could be like snacks, juices, breakfast stuff, toys, school supplies, anything that y'all know that children use will be greatly appreciated. And also the upbringing of the children also is very important. And donating services, even donating services like educational enrollments, lessons, stuff like that, activities, football, cricket, those type of things, social activities. I can't elaborate enough on this, but it hurt in
I
terms
know.
for me.
Understood.
Right.
All right. So, permit me to jump in here for just a bit. And, I know that, and I understand why it's difficult to even think about relating because of how tragically their mom was taken away. So let's get into the fundraiser itself and the shape it will take. So what will it be? And tell us how we can contribute.
Okay, so it's on the 25th of June. Just hoping that everything goes good and God give us the grace and the mercy. And on the 25th of June at Tina's Bar. Just give me some time, couple seconds to catch myself.
That's understood.
Right. The
It's
25th of
called A
June
Gift for
at
the
Tina's
Children. Let
Bar.
me give you a few minutes to get
Gift
yourself
for the
together.
children.
It's called A Gift for the Children, and they're going to come together on Sunday, June 25th, 2 p.m. at Tina's Bar. That's located just here in our neighborhood in the Pine, in remembrance of Joe Hope, who was tragically taken from us on February 8th of this year. And as Sandy mentioned, she left behind some beautiful children, and we definitely want to show them our love and help to see how we can help give them a good future. And this is just a start, because as Sandy mentioned, it takes a village to raise our children, and she most certainly is doing her part. Sandy, I know it has taken a lot to be able to even pull this together. So again, it's going to be at Tina's Bar, but tell us how we can contribute. You mentioned a number of things that, physical things that people can contribute to the children. And you also mentioned programs, and so it really ran the gamut. So talk to me about how people can share. How? You have to show up on the day?
Okay. Yes. Well, there's people that came to me and they said to me, Sandy, I want to give you money and stuff like that. And I said, no, I don't want to take any money or anything like that. Show up on the day and make a presentation. Let the family and the caretakers know where this donation is coming from. If you can't do that and I have to go ahead and do that for you, sure, but I will do that on your behalf. Because another thing, there's no bank account number, anything like that associated with this. It's just my telephone number, which is 824-9626. But we could always arrange how donations can be done for the children and more children to come, because I don't want it to only stop here. I want to help other children. As I said, they are the future. And as I said, donations can be anything that you can afford, even if it's a simple pencil, a rubber, a ruler, something that the children can benefit from it is greatly appreciated.
Okay, so what's your role? Is there some relation to the children? Were you friends with their mom, whom we've lost? What's the connection?
Okay, well, me and Joelle, we wasn't like friends, but when I see Joelle, we would always talk, and it would always be words of encouragement and stuff like that. And her son goes to school at the same school as my son. So me and Joelle was together at sports day and stuff like that. So when I heard that, it hit home. Plus, Joelle's mom is a family friend. Joelle's mom is a family friend, also Joelle's children. So that makes it everybody is family. So it hit home. As a mother, it hit home.
All right. We most certainly wish you the very best on this fundraiser. I hope that you're truly able to shore everything and formalize it in a way that you can get the level of support that you need, because there are a number of organizations who will, they will be willing to donate, but they need that formality. They need the creation of that account through the bank. They need the registration. They need it associated with a reputable charitable organization to be able to truly give. If we want to move past just people giving what they have in their pockets and things of that nature. So, if you can connect with us even after the show for us to point you in the right direction to make sure that we truly can help these children and the others that you're hoping to, we are more than willing to do that as well. And I commend you and everybody else for your efforts and encourage everybody who can make it out and contribute on Sunday, June 25th at 2 o'clock at Tina's Bar in the Pine to come on out and show your support. Thank you, Sandy, for all that you're doing.
Thank you so much, Tisha. You have a great day, and thank you, Barbados.
All right, thank you so much. Again, definitely reminding us of our humanity. So show your humanity and contribute if you can. Coming up, we are saluting another exceptional youth. Kemal Marshall, a dancer, choreographer, and performer, is in studio with me, and we get to know him a whole lot better. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Twenty-five and a half minutes after 7 o'clock. Now, I know there are lots of you at home who don't have to go to school today who are saying, yes, a day home. I've been there. Just being honest, but make sure that you truly are prepared and you know what to expect. Go out and do a little something around the house. If the parents have gone off to work, make sure there are no objects that can fly around if the winds pick up and things like that. Or as my grandmother used to say in the day, go and pull a little bush or something, help do something around the house. I'm kidding, guys. All right, 26 minutes after 7 o'clock. You know we love to salute our exceptional youth, and there definitely are some exceptional youth all across Barbados. Like this next young man who we got him out of bed bright and early and got him here to share with us. Let's say good morning to you, Kemal Marshall. You're a dancer, a choreographer, and a performer. Good to have you with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right. I love that big, beautiful smile. Tell me how you got into dance.
I first started dancing at church, and then that was in 2012.
What age was that?
I was roughly 12 or 13.
Oh, 2012, yeah, around 2012. I was around that age too.
Then after that, I decided to go to the Barbados Community College where I studied theater arts and dance, and then after that I just kept going.
What was the program like though? Because we hear so many people talk about doing the program at the BCC. What was it like for you? Was it all you expected? Was it more?
Well, the theater arts program was not what I expected for sure, because I thought I would have been more involved in a lot more acting roles, but I don't regret being a part of it at all, because I got to know stage management, all the technical aspects of theater. Even though I got to act at the same time, it was still exciting to know about the other aspects of the performing arts arena. Then the dance program, that was definitely not what I expected, because this was the first time I got into formal training of dance. So it was like 3 different styles of dance a week, at least must be about 4 classes a week of ballet, Caribbean dance, modern dance, and just working really hard to perfect the technique. And then by the end of the 2 years, you had to come up with an elaborate choreography and just hope for the best.
Let's talk about the choreography part of it, because it's one thing to be a wonderful dancer and feel the dance coming out, but does choreography naturally come along with being a dancer, or is this something that develops over time, or something that you truly must have a real knack for as well?
I guess the more experience you have dancing with other people and dancing for people and training in the classes, you can pull on material from those classes to create choreography. But choreography is choreography, in my experience, is more than just pulling movement together and just putting it on stage. You have to have an idea of what you want to do, what story you want to tell, how you want to tell it, how you want the audience to receive it, and what you really want to say with the movement that you have chosen. Yeah.
So in 2019, you received an award at NIFCA for one of your choreographies. I see that big, beautiful smile again. Tell me all about that, the process, the piece, and then eventually winning.
Yeah. Dreaming Black Boy, I created that for my portfolio at BCC. It was a story about this young man who has a dream to become the best of himself. So the process was just me, it was literally just me putting different ideas together from how I was feeling and just moving with the music. So, and it was easy to do because it was a solo, and with a solo you can never go wrong. The only person who know that you're going wrong is yourself. So it was exciting. And then taking it from my BCC portfolio into NIFCA, I was very excited to know that I was able to bring something from school into the real world and achieve an award, you know.
All right, so you've moved on to the University of the West Indies. I am trying to restrain myself from asking you about what it's like studying during COVID and expressing yourself in dance during COVID, but you've been able to represent the university at the Coco Dance Festival in Trinidad and Tobago that happened last year. Talk to us about that.
Honestly, that was an exciting trip. Like, hopefully my castmates and my good friends are watching, who knows. And it was exciting because we were all really nervous, because this is the first time as a collective we have all traveled together to perform and to represent Barbados and to also represent the university and to also represent ourselves. So everybody felt as though we had a lot of pressure on us, and because a lot was riding on us, because yeah, we were young people dancing, representing the island. So when we got to Trinidad, we just knew that this is the moment to perform the dances that we have been rehearsing for God knows how long, under the guidance of Aisha Kamashon. Thank God for her for getting us the opportunity to go and represent us in that capacity. And we did what we had to do. We performed To the point that people thought that we were seasoned professional dancers. When we told them we were just at university, they were like, "What? For real?" And we're like, "Yeah, we just work hard. We just know where we want to be."
You know, that little dance, you know, nothing much. Just a little something we pulled together, being modest. Yes. You say that your major inspiration in life is to use your craft, to use your art to make a difference. How do you see yourself as a dancer, as a choreographer, as a performer in general, making that difference with other people who look like you, people in and around your community?
Yeah, for me, it's mostly around my gender, because for me, when growing up, I didn't used to see a lot of males dancing. So when I go up on stage, I like to carry a certain demeanor to let people know boys also dance, especially in the Caribbean. Especially in Barbados, male dancers do exist, whether they're doing ballet, whether they're doing modern, or even hip-hop or street dance. We do exist, and they're important to see a role model out there doing something that is not normally done by males in Barbados. So that's how I want my art to make a difference, so that when young boys who have the passion for dance see me on stage, or my fellow brothers in dancing, they will know, oh, I could do this too, and do not be afraid.
Have you ever felt any discrimination in any way as a male dancer?
Oh yeah, when I first started ballet, like I never knew someone to tell people I was doing ballet, because I don't know, everybody be like, oh, a boy doing ballet? That's not always done. But then as you do your research, you realize that a lot of ballet dancers out there are males. So it's important to have a man in dance. So I then realized, yeah, this is my passion, this is my job. So if you won't be upset that I'm doing ballet, that's at you, not me. So
are there any specific types of dance that you prefer more than others?
I prefer contemporary dance more than others. I struggle really hard with African dance and a little commercial and hip hop, but I do still try to do my best.
Yeah.
I still try to do my best.
What does that bring out in you when you do contemporary dance? You know, because I know these forms of expression usually bring something out of us that is deeply personal a lot of the times.
For me, it just brings out the ability to be extremely versatile with my body, and all the flexibility and all the endless possibilities that can happen, because with contemporary dance you could basically do anything and call it dance. So it's not so rigid like ballet or so confined like modern dance. It's very fluid and expressive and full of multiple different things.
Where are you hoping to take this dance career of yours?
Honestly, right now I hope it's just take it beyond the Caribbean, and hopefully take whatever I get from beyond the Caribbean and bring it back here, because another dream of mine is to help the culture and the arts in Barbados to elevate, so that persons can realize that artists, especially dancers, can have a legitimate career in the arts and not just be like after school hobby.
Now when you talk about these stretches and what you could do with this contemporary dance, I saw the others put some photographs up while I was looking at you, and if viewers saw me kind of shifting my attention, you guys have to put those photos up again, because I want to look at his face. Do a split screen of him when you put these shots up, because I want to see your reaction when you look back at what you're able to do with your body when you dance. Doesn't it amaze you? Some of these shots are just truly amazing.
Yeah, it's honestly, it's a lot of hard work for sure, because when I first started dancing, it was not flexible at all. I worked towards my flexibility and worked towards every ounce of strength I have.
Look at this.
As a dancer. Yeah, that was
how many takes did you have to do to?
I can't remember, you know. This one was taken by Olivia Hall from Of Another Nature. I can't remember how many takes it took.
Yeah, but that is truly amazing.
That one is from Trinidad.
Wow,
that is
gorgeous lines. So do you practice in front of the mirror? My goodness.
No, the one before this one and this one, they're actual dances. These are shots of me while I'm dancing. This one is also from Trinidad. That is, oh dear, One Flies All Sorts, right?
Yeah, that's amazing stuff. Maybe one day, look at this. Maybe one day I'll be able to do that. Maybe one day. Or maybe I'll just live vicariously through you.
That is no problem.
You know, you're an exceptional young man in more ways than one.
Thank you.
So congratulations on all you've achieved. And we can see that you're passionate about your craft. You have a vision for where you want to go with it, where you want it to take you, and you plan to bring us along.
Yeah,
and when I say us, I mean the Barbadian community. That's very, very important. And I'm really happy to hear that you want to be a positive role model in the field of dance and really be a beacon of light for young men who might be interested in dance. So any plans for competitions in the near future, or what's happening as in next new, not so down the road, but you know, in the coming months and years?
I don't have any big plans right now, but if people want to see me dance, I have 2 upcoming shows and choreograph. I'll be performing with the Louise Woodbine Dance Academy in their dance show on July 2nd, and I'll be presenting a choreography with Gentle Steps Arts Academy on July 24th, if my memory serves me correctly. So those are the 2 big things that are coming up for me next right now. All
right, congratulations. And it certainly has been wonderful having you with us. You don't look as tired as you did when you came earlier, but I understand getting up this early in the morning. This is Kemal Marshall, dancer, choreographer, and performer. Look out for him doing fantastic things in the area of dance and beyond. Here in Barbados and beyond, another exceptional youth that we are celebrating on Morning Barbados. We're going to take a break and come on back. Someone else is telling us about exceptional young people after this.
Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
21 minutes now before 8 o'clock. For those of you who are hitting the roads, make sure you have things together. I know for some of us, we put off a lot of what we have to do, even with our vehicles. When we talk about preparation, some of us, you have the vehicle and you know the AC is not working, but you can always roll down the windows, and now it's raining outside, so you can't roll down the windows, so you get the fogged up windows, which can present problems. So just check everything from what's happening in the homes. Make sure if there are any loose, you know, galvanized sheets or permaclad sheets, or if there's anything going on around the house, that you are truly looking into that so that you can take care of it. All right. So we're going to tell you now about the NCF's Calypso Forward project. And here to tell us more is Kevin Watson, also known as Luggy Dan. Good morning to you.
Morning, manners and respect, Barbados. Thanks for having me.
Good, Sluggy Dan. Good to have you with us on Morning Barbados.
Yeah, thank you. It's my pleasure.
All right. I know you did not come in studio. I'm kidding.
That was not my fault.
I'm kidding, Sluggy. All right, so tell me all about the NCF's Calypso Forward project, which you really are our lead on, and I know truly excited about, because you love working with young people and helping them to give them a platform to showcase their talents.
Yes, please. And thank you, Hardeers, Tisha. The project with the we saw Bobby here. We do this on TV. The project with the project with the NCF. Come as you know. I had a conversation with you about my sing off this year, this is the fourth year now, but from the beginning, from the very first one, I had a conversation you on air about this thing off and the amount of talent, and they were talking about having the children do some original music, hopefully one day instead of all them just singing covers. So I had a conversation with the CEO of the NCF, Miss Carol Roberts Reefer, and I explained to her the project he wanted to do. I know he wanted to work with professional producers and engineers and songwriters, and artists that already established to come and mentor the youngsters. So he wanted a complete program where the young people can be afforded, a pop producer like a Darian Bailey or Daddy Bubbles or Andrea Clark from Nexus or Dwayne and the producer from Marshall Band, or Just D. So we had a pool of all these accomplished producers, engineers, Adrian Odell, who some he plays with Promise, and he also works with Barris Hammond as well, as one of the production manager, overall production manager. So I thought it was a far-fetched idea, because me teacher, I thinking all out there, thinking about all these people, and saying, well, but me, I can ask. I ain't gonna just say, well, this is crazy, but I ain't gonna ask. As crazy as it is, teacher, me, I can ask. So I asked, and the CEO and the NCF loved the idea, and obviously they looked at it, heard what I want, tweaked it, and a beautiful program come up. We get 5 original songs for the youngsters. Person like Sadis was helped right on the project as well, and we get 5 completely new songs that sound amazing. We ain't just do one rhythm, as what's happened a lot. Do one rhythm and have multiple artists on the project on the same rhythm. No, we get 5 separate songs for everyone, and then 5 photo shoots, 5 lyric videos, 5 EPKs, which is electronic press kit, so that the 5 artists could have a complete package for word distribution, proper professional photos, a proper professional recording, marketing and promotion. So it was great. I hope that from this project, from this sample size, which is 5, I hope that from this we could take this all around the island and duplicate this in many different communities, so that we could come November or so, where we have at least 20 emerging artists that no one really know about, and then by the end of the year, they are fairly well known across the social media platforms, across the radio stations, TV programs, so that these youngsters we can introduce the Barbadian public to the next group of really good young artists. Because I watch young people 14, 16 who are really good trying to get in, but then we ain't let go the notion that we can't have multiple stars as yet. So time 15 years past and dating myself, 15 or 20 years apart, and these artists will still be really good, but we still hold on to the ones that are there for the next 20, 30 years, and then letting go. Like, if both can exist, and they always ask why we really got no child stars. Why we, like if you look all over the world got Trinidad superstars making millions of dollars, and Barbados ain't got none. So I all believe that ain't true, because per capita, Tisha, and plus you work with things like basically where per capita you could speak to the talent is crazy.
Yeah.
You can't imagine that you were going one small space in Barbados, and everybody could sing, everybody could cook, everybody could ride bicycles good, everybody could paint. Everybody could do everything real good. So it's just using projects like this, Tisha, show up Barbados, what we could really do if we just put a little behind the young people.
What you gotta put behind them?
A little a little oomph, a little push, a little kick.
Yeah, we
ain't gonna be that big. Ain't gonna be that big. T. Ain't gonna be that big. Even a little good job.
Applause.
You know what I mean? Ain't gonna be money, or ain't gonna be money knowing it. Just being real, ain't gonna be a cent.
I really applaud your passion for youth and for helping youth in the art and what you do as well. You're relentless. And that's what's important, and that's what will make the difference. Talk to us about the 5 young people who participated in this particular project. I see some familiar and not so familiar names, which is a good thing for me, really.
Yeah, you know that's such a blessing, Tisha. When you remember Rock on Drums, they bring him on Mornin Barbados. He didn't do no songs yet. He didn't produce anything yet. He didn't have a song yet. I know Rock on Drums. You know songs like Coco song. Somebody said there's a fat going on, and I feel like going down, which is incredibly huge.
He's not
He was
Coco
one of the producers.
anymore.
Yeah, grateful core. And then that my brethren in real life. You know, I love the constant fight for evolution. I love that he looking to improve all the time. You know what I mean? I love to see it. So big ups to him. But you know, Rock on Drums, who was Tariq Ellis when they brought him on at the time. He's one of the producers on that. And then he did statement song that he won the CBC competition with. I wanna party
in 2020.
He produced that.
That's right.
Yeah, he produced that himself. So from that little man, Tariq Ellis, and bringing on to no Rock on Drums, the same person, seeing that and saying he got hit songs is amazing for me. And then Renako Amirs, who is one of my little youngsters, who is no freshie, you know, freshie, blam, got big tunes galore.
It's true. I must tell you, some people might get jealous of this, but Freshy's song is my favorite song for the season. That's the
Which
absolute
ones? You got
truth.
the big ones. They got bottom balls. They got horn. They get horn. They got whiner. They got the horn song. Your favorite song, teacher?
Pick one,
Lord, I get
Sluggy Dan.
You too, Bobby here. Barbados, I ain't picking none. I ain't with she today. Leave no. Good, but
You are
biggest
with
of
me, Sluggy Dan. All right, let's talk
no,
about
I mean
the
like
other young people
Bobby
who are
here.
part of it.
Right. Yes, but it's for me. I'm so happy to see Fresh. You got these big tunes from this little man they bring that ain't had a song yet. You know what I mean? Want sing people's songs, so no having his own big tunes. So I'd be glad that I get opportunities like this, so they can show people the evolution of these children who were brought on Mornin Barbados when the boy know them, to know these children that these young people know, young adults, the biggest names in the business. So I love to see transition. And we got a hand J, who is Triple Crown winner at Team Talent, Junior Monarch winner as well, and Ahanja is also
came
one of
off
the young
from
people
a
that ran
successful season with Beige to the World. She was exceptional.
Yes, and a finalist in Beige to the World. Beige to the World is not easy to get to the finals. Every week is a different genre, is a different challenge. So big young people for that. And Ahanja, who was one of the finalists, after accomplishing all those things. So she's also on the project. She worked with Sadis. She worked with Sadis and Andrea Clark and Nikita. So biggest Nikita for that. Nikita took her under her wing, carried her in the studio with her. Nikita mentored Ahanja, showed her, performance tips, showed her recording techniques and how to get certain emotions out of songs, and since lines you're singing certain words, you're singing ways you pay attention to those words, things like that, and breathing and so on. Nikita was showing her in the studio. Of course, you can listen like thief enough for the game, so you could use it. Biggest to Nikita. I had this on the project. So that is true. Established Cherish, who's very talented. Yeah, Carissa no. Carissa song I wrote, Carissa's tune, and Carissa is one that emerging, she ain't known to Barbados yet. I'm thankful that Ahanja, Freshie, and Rock on Drums, widely known to the public. Carissa is one that emerging, but she's still very young, early 20s, and she's a supervisor and a manager already, at her young age as a chef, accomplished chef. So that took off, and she also loved to sing. And this project, Just D was the producer, and Just D is so good at what he does, as a songwriter and producer. He got big at Just D when I wrote the song. Just he took the song and structured it. They put certain sections. They had different places.
What's the name of the song?
Place, and the name It's Me.
It's Me.
The name of the song, yeah, It's Me. I love it. A soca song. Saying that soca is her. She's soca. She love it. She can't do it. Vote it, and those things are biggest to her. Then we have Cherish. Cherish is a very talented artist and little known, unknown fact. She's the sister of Bruce and Barry Chandler, who know being Party Monarch, Road March, and all different things. She was in Crossfire, Job Bitch. She's their sister. She was
Yeah.
a dancer, a very accomplished dancer all her life. At her young age, she was a top-notch dancer. She's a singer and performer. Writes her own songs, writes all of her own music. So that's really, really good. To a big ups to Cherish. Like the 5 youngsters that are on the project. Each project is different. A Hanjay song is more sensual and more slow. Fresh song is more party. Rock on Drum song is for the girls. Carissa song is for all soca lovers. And Cherish song is a summer song.
Yeah, that's some wonderful stuff. And of course, we know
Yeah.
that, the might, the applause, the oomph that has been put behind this project for them to be able to get the EPKs and the professional photos
Lisa
and the
Howell. That was Lisa
professional
Howell.
production and all of that behind them is what truly will propel them, because that's what's needed. I certainly hope you're able to grow this project to the point where we are seeing. I love that concept of creating child stars in Barbados. We know, I
Yeah.
think, there were, back in the day, I think if there's one person that people go back to and say they remember them performing from young, it's Machel Montano. And look at where he is now. So,
Yeah, why
definitely
not?
something positive to look forward to, Sluggy Dan.
Yeah, man, I'm really looking forward to it. And Barbados, like for me, Barbados is trust my judgment. Barbados is thankfully respect. If I come and say this bodyguard is very respected, I think it's because they're not used to being police band. They're not the qualified musicians. So when I say this, like, and anyone offended, I mean to offend people. These youngsters is extremely good and better than a lot of the music that we want to let go of, better a lot of the older folks. I don't believe that because somebody's young, you have to wait your turn. If you're good, you're good. Like you said, and I'm so thankful for you, Keisha, like you said about Marshall. And you may speak about Marshall doing good and performing when he's young, but Marshall won Road March when he was a child. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So when teachers say that Marsha was a child doing good, you know what I mean? Like obviously for time you don't want to understate it, but Marshall dominated and won Road March. You can look at Stevie Wonder dominated the areas when he was a child. Michael Jackson dominated when he was a child. Don't tell me that no child in Barbados ain't good enough to be big like Rick, Ram, and Edwin.
Yeah.
Big up Rick,
Be
big up Rick,
careful.
Ram, and Edwin.
Be careful
Huh?
calling certain names, Sluggy Dan. Have a
I'm
great
sure
day. It's always
I
good to
could tell
have
that Rick
you.
and Ram. I could tell you this, straight to say this on TV. Rick, Ram, and Edwin want youngsters to be big like them. Anything I doing, Rick, Ram, and Edwin, and them men support the youth right through.
All right, good stuff. Always good to see
Bang.
you. I respect you
Yeah,
a great deal because of your passion for young
yeah,
people. Always looking for a platform for them to showcase their talents, even if it means putting yours on the back burner, but certainly
for
gives you an
sure.
opportunity to share, to pass it on. So thank you, and don't be a stranger. Let us know how things are going, and I look forward to all that will come out of this amazing project, the Calypso Forward project. Very aptly named as well. So thank you again, Kevin Watson, Sluggy Dan, doing fantastic work along with the National Cultural Foundation and the young people of Barbados. Great project. Make sure you look out for those young people. Coming up, we're going to wrap up today's presentation of Morning Barbados with a little social media buzz. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
All right. So last Friday, of course, before that, we had them on talking about the Barbados Olympic Association's Glow Run. It's for a worthy cause. You're going to get an opportunity to see some of the CAC stars who are going off to represent Barbados. And they were over in the general environs of the Wilde Gymnasium. So we want to share a little bit of that with you as we share the highlights of the Barbados Olympic Association's Glow Fun and Walk last Friday.
Ready, set, go! The runners and walkers were off in their white tees and glow accessories at the Barbados Olympic Association Glow Fun Run and Walk at the Sir Garfield Sobers complex. There was paint, an unexpected hill climb, a maze, and foam. Then it was time to cool down with some Zumba with Keisha. We heard Venetia Cadogan's feedback on this event.
Quite pleased with the way things went. We had a good turnout. I think that the persons who participated enjoyed themselves. I asked a few of them and they thought it was a great idea. They enjoyed the run, they liked the circuit. All in all, I think it was great.
All right, so definitely a fun time. And of course, thanks to everybody who came out to make that possible. Nadia, thank you for all your wonderful production work and narration. Sounds like you truly had a wonderful time. That's the producer behind the scenes, Nadia Foster. Always great work. We have to let you know, Q in the Community, scheduled for today, that was to be at Briar Hall playing field, has been postponed, okay? Now, no queue in the community today. I know that's a disappointment, but we have to make sure that you are ready for Tropical Storm Brett and you're putting things in place. Wouldn't be corporate, we wouldn't be a good corporate social citizen to move forward with that production today. So cancelled for today, obviously because of what we're expecting. We advise everyone to make the necessary precautions to ensure their safety, and so we can enjoy another queue on another day. There will be another Thursday. So no queue today. The one that was scheduled for Briar Hall later today has been postponed. I dare say canceled because next week is another queue. Postponed for now. Let's leave it at that. And I know there are a number of businesses that have changed their hours of business. They're closing as well. So just haul ahead and make sure that you check so that you are not disappointed if you go out. We expect the hardware stores and the supermarkets to be pretty packed. If you have to pick up a few things, go early, because the people who are working in retail and the shop assistants and so on who are working in these businesses also need to get home and be able to take care of their business and family as well. Coming up tomorrow, it is the Breakfast Party Show. You don't want to miss that. Mix It in 5 with DJ Chili. We're going to have some costumes as well as new music. That's all coming up tomorrow on Morning Barbados. So right now, on behalf of the entire crew, I want to thank you for spending the last couple hours with us. And we will continue to update you here on CBC TV8. So don't go too far. Listening to the radio stations as well, 98.1 FM, 100.7 FM, and 94.7 FM for updates. We will make sure that we stay on top of those updates for you. So remember to wear your smiles today, no matter what is happening, and come back tomorrow as we keep you updated and bring you another episode of Morning Barbados. On behalf of the entire crew, bye-bye.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning.